And howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV.
Hi,
And
everybody.
channel. Welcome back to Stargate Outpost. How you doing, Sarah?
I'm doing good. You know, it was kind of hard in the time allotted to get this done, but I have a mostly complete list. Anyway.
I definitely wasn't scrambling myself here. There's definitely a big blank spot left in that right corner for Sam.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a fun topic today. We are talking about covering, discussing, conversing.
Yep.
About the best scenes for each character in the main SG1 team/unit. So we're considering Hammond and Fraser members of this SG1 squad. And then we will also pick our favorites from each one of those characters. So we have a few things to talk about. We hope that y'all have a lot of opinions and thoughts as well, which it's Stargate. We're all going to have some. Let's just be realistic, you know? So no, it's going to be fun. I guess let's just jump ahead and go into it.
Sure.
Have the cats nicked my chair? They have not. We do have a chair holding up the whiteboard. Oh no, I almost knocked over my computer while I did that. Honestly, let me see if I can slide this back into the little voice booth back here hiding from us, where I can turn around for a little inspiration whenever I need to. You know? But yeah, here we go. Stargate fan controversy? Nah, you don't say. Come try. Hope everybody is doing well, though.
That's a good scene.
You can tell that we were talking about and thinking about things because I didn't put any of these messages up on the top whenever we were doing things a second ago. But, you know, things we're thinking. Means we got ideas for this wonderful stream today. Which, shall we start it off? I do have an order right here, but I don't think the order is necessarily the right order to go in. It's definitely me not saying that because I haven't finished the second half of the first person on the first line. So with that thought, I was thinking let's get it started with a little loving, a little nursing, somebody that cares for the teams. Miss Dr. Miss Janet Fraser. I guess let's start with. Should we start with favorite or best? Do you have a preference? Chat, do y'all have a preference?
Yeah, those are almost the same thing for me.
Yeah, I think some of these are going to be like that.
I'm in the same position you are with Sam on Dr. Fraser, but I think her best was Lifeboat. Yeah,
you said Lifeboat.
Yeah. There's a good scene, you know, her and Daniel, and he's got all the different personalities. And it's just, you know, the two of them. Great.
So good. Yeah, I have her death as her best episode or scenes, I guess.
Yeah.
Not necessarily her death, but the scenes within the 2-part episode of her die, I guess. Because she's got a lot of say in those 2 episodes, and the death feels so sudden whenever it happens.
Right. That's my favorite, probably Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's still sad as all can get out every time you watch it, but it's because you care about her, and that's a good thing. So yeah, I think that's her best in my opinion. And you got not Heroes.
Lifeboat.
Lifeboat. I was like,
that's her best.
Said the name of the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, her and Daniel doing that. So what would be your favorite? Chat, what are y'all thinking? Because my favorite, I put down scene-wise, adopting Cassandra. I remember lying for all episodes.
I ran out of time to dig deeper into her than I did.
Yeah.
I got there.
I had to think about it just for a
I thought about the Cassandra. There's some good Cassandra stuff in there. I just didn't get a chance to look up exactly what episodes those were. That was like season 1, wasn't it? Or 2? Early on.
2, maybe 3, but I think it was like 2, yeah. There's a few different good Cassandra moments, especially when Cassandra's aged up a little bit and she's trying to be that rebellious teen and all that. Yeah. But I think if we're talking Dr. Frasier moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's when she decides to take Cassie in kind of deal. It's like, I'm gonna call you Cassie. We're gonna go home. You don't have to deal with the things you've ever had to deal with before.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's really sweet.
Yeah.
She adopted Cassandra, our future girl, who sent them back from the future. What? Yeah, she was kind of annoyed about being killed, and I still don't see why they needed to kill her off. I like Stoic a whole bunch, but just
it made it a great episode, but it just felt like, okay, we need to have something super dramatic happen, so let's kill her off,
it was like, why her? Like, she hasn't done anything wrong to anybody the entire damn time.
I thought I read something once that maybe they were thinking of killing off Sam, actually. I don't know if it would have been in that episode, but I thought I read somewhere once that was like an idea that was floated, but then they went with Frasier instead for obvious reasons. I mean, can you imagine like no Sam Stargate? That just would not.
What?
Yeah.
What would you do at in that point? Like, would you try to get Haley up there or something? Like, I don't know what would even be the.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, anyway,
it
wouldn't work. Obviously, it wouldn't work because they didn't do it. But then, weren't they thinking it was like at that point? Wasn't it like almost every season was like, "Oh, this is our last one. This is our last one," and they kept.
Well, because Mike just brought up a good point. They thought they weren't getting another series, so wanted to end big, and then got another series. That was season 7 or 8, right? So right before
it was 7 that she died. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Joey did bring up a good point too. It was Survivor Island. They did the same to the Doctor later in Atlantis. Boy, do they regret that. Not a good plan.
Yeah.
No. But with Atlantis, at least.
Yeah.
And it's no dig at Lexa Doig.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't even give her anything to really do whenever she was introduced. It was more like, oh yeah, we should check in with the Doctor.
She was in like half a season and then popped in again a couple times. She wasn't in that much. So
where at least when Carson Beckett was killed off and replaced with
Keller,
Dr. Jennifer Keller, that was like Jewel State.
Yeah.
Jewel.
Yeah.
At least Jewel State's character got a lot to do. Keller had a lot to have happen to her. She was having a good time as a character within the series.
Yeah.
Rather than just, check in with the Doctor. It felt like Lexa Doig was the not comical version of Dr. Bill Lee. If that made sense. Whereas they
didn't. I mean, there wasn't like a lot of time to really develop. I mean, they had the thing of like, she's Landry's daughter, and they kind of are estranged or whatever was going on there. I think they were trying to make it interesting, but it just didn't really. I don't think they gave it enough time to make it interesting.
No, and they didn't need a whole bunch of time. No. They just needed to devote some probably to it.
I mean, it would have been better if she was in more episodes. I think would have helped.
But I guess also in defense of one of the greatest series of all time, there was a lot of loose threads happening at that point. They needed to kind of start finding their end point. Some never even did, so it was kind of like, how do you interweave the new story that you want people to care about, but are they ever really going to? So how much time should we devote to it, I guess?
Right.
Yeah. Because half of Dr. Frasier's time we've been talking about, not Dr. Frasier. Should we go to the next character?
Sure.
Which honestly, let's kick it off again with another semi-SG1 member. The guy who put all the team together. General Hammond.
Yep.
I cheated on this one. My best is also my favorite, and my favorite is also my best scene that I chose for Hammond.
I think you know what it's going to be.
Can you guess what it is?
I think I picked this one too.
Should I do a drum roll?
Sure. It
What do you
is.
think?
I think it's threading the needle where he yells, "Yeehaw!"
If
That's
you
one of my
got Hammond
favorite.
and Texan yelling "yeehaw"
Yeah,
in an alien space jet thing, not jet, I guess he's on
yeah,
like a not X-ray. Is it X-ray 302 or 3 that time? Whatever one he's on at that point.
yeah.
He's flying over Antarctica just being a badass. It's too perfect.
Mhm.
It's like absolutely too perfect. It's the best. It's
Yep.
there are good emotional scenes.
Yes.
When they went back in time and met him,
Oh,
that
that's
was
good.
the best part about that whole episode.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that and like how like when they come back and he's like, "Yeah, I've known this was gonna happen all along," which is kind of funny.
Like acting wise, that is a
But
really great moment.
yeah, I kind of forgot about that. That's a good scene with him too. Just even that moment when they get back. But I picked well, my other thing I picked a good performance. I don't know if it's the absolute best. It's the one I could come up with in the time we had that I could remember and search on and all that. Chain reaction. When the NID kind of blackmails him and threatens him, so he retires, and then Jack goes and visits him at his house later, and there's a good scene there
Oh
where
yeah.
Jack finds out what's really going on and all that. And of course that ends up being a great like Jack and Mayburn episode too. So yeah.
Can we count Mayborn as SG1? Okay.
I know.
We
That's
have to
great.
go back and think too much real quick.
Yeah. Well,
But those are.
let's just see. Mayborn comes up a lot when we get to Jack. So
I'm so sorry, Tom McBeath. I didn't think of Mayborn at all when I thought of Jack. If I'm being honest, you just shocked the hell out of me because I probably should have at least like thought about it.
yeah. Well, I think Jack, like the best Jack scenes are with him with Mayburn. That's
Or
yeah.
or the person that we'll get to in a second.
Mhm.
Because actually, there's 2 others that he has seen. Actually, 3 others. Anyway. Yes, I will happy dance about some good Stargate. Always and forever, forever and always.
Yep.
Favorite episode for Hammond is also him flying over Antarctica for me. It's
Mhm.
yeehawing over Antarctica, blowing the hell out of some old.
Mhm.
You can make a Texas man happy. It's when Hammond of Texas is blowing up aliens in the sky.
Yep.
It's too cool.
Yeah, that's a favorite moment. Yeah.
Is
'Cause
your
it's just
favorite
so
the
out
same?
of character for Hammond for him to do that. It just seems so out of character. It's like him
It's
cutting
out
loose,
of character, but like perfectly him too.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
It's so perfect. I just love it. I guess you had the favorite and best episode with the same thing for that too.
No, I had the favorite was the yeehaw, and the best was that scene in Chain Reaction.
Oh, duh. You just said the
Yeah.
chain reaction stuff. I
Yeah.
just got excited
Mhm.
about the yeehawing over Antarctica.
Yeah.
Texans just need a big gun to be happy.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna disagree. you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't forget that episode of 1967. It's Cassandra that meets them in the gate room. And remember the device she uses to activate the Stargate. That
Oh,
means
that's right. I forgot
future
about
records.
her. Oh, because they go too far into the future. That's right.
Oh,
And
but
then
also
yeah, I
there's
forgot about that
I
part of it.
completely forgot too. But also,
Yeah.
wouldn't there be enough timelines where that might not be the actual future at this point, or would it be? I
Right.
don't know.
I
Stargate
thought
knew
that
that.
kind of if I now that I'm like, kind of this is refreshing my memory of the episode, I thought it was like them getting back to the right time prevents a bad future from happening or whatever. But I think.
God, yeah, no, I need to rewatch that episode in particular. We brought it up a few times the last couple of weeks, and it's
Mhm.
not one we consider one of the best episodes necessarily, but it's also just pertinent with
Yeah.
a few of the specificities of it, I guess. Yeah,
Mhm.
your journeys are just beginning. This is true.
Right.
That's a great quote. Okay,
Yeah.
so Hammond,
Okay.
we've got our Hammond down.
Mhm.
It was so meta that it was. Who should we jump on now? We've got a full team of SG1 members to go after.
Do you want to go with our Farscape couple?
Let's do it. I got them right here.
Okay.
Shall we start with Cam or Val?
Cam.
Cam!
Mhm.
Okay, let's do backwards because we've been doing best and favorite. What is your favorite Cam moment? Your scene, I guess.
Well, season 9, episode 8, called Babylon. That was where Cam gets captured by what are they called? Oh my gosh, I thought I wrote it down. This branch of Jaffa that never got enslaved. What were they called? Oh my gosh.
It wasn't
I thought I wrote it down, the name of the people. Anyway, people in chat probably know who I'm talking about.
Can't help out.
It wasn't Sokar. It was like, I don't remember. Anyway, I can't believe I didn't write it down. Anyway,
So
Tony Todd's in that episode. Yeah, that's it right there. Soda can. Tony Todd's in that episode, and Cam at the beginning, Cam like shoots one of the guys and injures him. They take him back to SGC. And then Cam's got to train with this guy named Jolan, who's the brother of the guy he injured. And there's just a lot of good scenes between him and Jolan while they're training. And then, of course, he ends up having to fight him in the end. And then in the background, the Ori are trying to convert them to the religion, the Ori religion, and all that going on in the background. But it's just good scenes between him and Jolan when they're training. That's probably the best. Am I supposed to be giving you the best or favorite? I forgot. Anyway.
Well, no, yeah. Well, was that? I guess
that's probably like the best. That's probably the best stuff.
Okay.
With Cam.
Because my favorite for Cam, because he has so many more silly moments than like big moments, and I did completely forget about that. My favorite though is one of the kind of the first times we get to see him, and we see his frustrations, which make him almost feel a little bit more Jack-like to a degree. I think is I love it whenever it's just a quick little quip essentially from him, but you can just see how frustrated he is, and he just goes, "I have absolutely no control over my teammates." Especially Vala, and just looks over at her, which is just fun now, especially watching Farscape. It's like, okay, y'all were playing around a little bit.
Yeah.
But also, it makes perfect sense for SG1 where we're at right now. I just love that. It's just a great little fun scene. Cam, I think, has a lot of the best one-liners, even though the entirety of SG1 is full of one-liners. Cam has a lot packed into just a couple seasons.
Yeah, they made him kind of. I mean, definitely we're leaning into being a Jack-like character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, that felt very reminiscent of something that Jack would do as well. It was the opposite of, like, him going back and... So what does Jack say whenever... What's the barbershop, I guess, that he's been having dreams about? Or every time he goes to sleep, he goes to the life of some barber, and he's like, I find it relaxing.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's like, this whole time you've been doing that?
It's kind of like the opposite with Cam, I feel like, in the sense there. Not really, but semi.
A favorite moment with Cam. There's a lot that come to mind. I happen to kind of hit on... There's episode, season 9, episode 5, called Stronghold. It's not a great episode, but it's when he's visiting his friend that's dying, and he lets him in on, he gives him that device that lets him see like the life that Mitchell's, all the secrets and everything that Mitchell's gone through since he's become part of the Stargate program. That's more of like a favorite. I don't know if that's the best. I'm just trying to think, because there's just lots of little moments, like when him and Daniel were playing those space pirates or whatever to get, where they had to get whatever it was, some device or whatever that had gotten traded, and they had to like follow the trail of trying to find it. And they had to be the space pirates. That was good stuff in there. yeah, a long debriefing. That's right.
He's got some great little moments. I honestly,
Yeah, when he has to fight the knight and and all that. That's good too.
I'm so bad about thinking about episodes versus scenes a lot of time. The
Mhm.
lack of diversity in the gene pool is a great freaking line.
Yeah, that's great too.
That was
Mhm.
hilarious.
Mhm.
I love looking back at the photo of them standing next to each other. You're like,
Mhm.
I don't think about them looking like
No.
each other, but when you take a step
Yeah.
back and look at it, you're like, oh,
Yeah. That's
no, no.
supposedly why Michael Shanks had a beard, was to try to make them look different, but the beard didn't look good. I'm glad they got rid of it.
Hey, I'm all for the beard Michael Shanks. Go beard on. Come on.
Yeah.
Um,
It just didn't look good there for whatever reason. I don't know.
I like Scruffy Daniel Jackson, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
tell most people, grow a beard. Big bro and little bro, actually though.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, that's true.
damn, because I really do think that might be. Hey Griff, what's happening? Um, I'm kind of with you on what might be the best scene there is him next to his friend that was passing.
Yeah.
But there's not the one I chose. If I would have thunk about it a little bit further, that might have been it. But is it the same episode? Remind me if I'm wrong, but I think it might be the same episode. Is when Cam visits his apartment, and you see how barren it is, how sullen Cam actually is. He is that fun kind of zany dude whenever he's leading SG1, and he has
Yeah.
that kind of camaraderie with his team. He's a good leader.
Yeah.
But then you get into his house.
Yeah,
And
it's not that episode, but I
he's
kind of vaguely remember that. Yeah, it's like,
yeah. I don't necessarily think it is the best scene. I think that one that you chose would probably be an actual, like, legitimate best scene from him, acting wise. But
Mhm.
that scene, writing wise, informs you so much about Cam, and I like
Mhm.
that in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
That scene helps inform the scene about, I guess, the friend passing, and does so in a good way.
Yeah, I think so. It's
But
definitely a
yeah,
character development thing.
yeah, and I'm
Oh,
suffering
yeah.
for good character development.
Yeah.
What? Cam just didn't have the backstory that Jonas had. Jonas felt he killed Daniel Jackson. I love me some John Crichton. Excuse me, Cameron Mitchell.
Yeah.
Both are great, but Jonas gets such a freaking. He gets the short stick every time,
Yeah.
and it is sad.
Mhm.
So we'll get to Jonas right after Valid, right in the middle. Should we go best or favorite first?
Best, which I have a feeling it's going to be the same. We have the same one in mind, I think. And that would be season 10's final episode,
Oh
Unending, right? No, it's not?
no, actually not.
Oh, okay. The best, that scene between her and Daniel in Unending, where, yeah, they kind of,
It's so damn good, and I almost chose
there's
it.
little yelling and screaming, but they, get there.
Oh, I mean,
They get
it's a hard
together,
watch,
and
but
that's probably the best anyway. But I don't know, maybe that's more Daniel than Vala, but it's kind of both of them.
it's
But,
definitely both.
yeah, yeah,
I only chose the one I chose for best because it doesn't not hit similar beats, and I feel like it does so. Or that conversation's it carries the weight. The one with Daniel carries the weight it does because of
mhm,
Daniel and not
right,
Vala.
right.
So I mean, it does carry a lot of weight because of Vala, but
Mhm,
we're in Daniel's shoes. We've seen him for 10 years now. Like
yeah,
this is our boy,
yeah,
Like we're like, come on, man. Like let yourself have somebody,
right. Mhm,
And we see why he doesn't because he's like, I don't trust her to do all this stuff. You're not serious with me ever, whatever. And we'll get
right,
to that a little bit because
yeah.
it's so good.
And I think
Um,
he's just afraid of, like, loss again, of, like, it was hard for him with his wife and stuff,
well,
Mhm,
literally last night when we were playing some
mhm,
cards, the SG1 episodes that were on in the background were Shara passing, and then Linnea
mhm.
coming back as Kira, I think is the
Right,
episode. Uh,
yeah,
and she kisses Daniel, and they're getting all lovey dovey, and Daniel's
yeah,
just like, I just lost my wife. And he's just going through that, you know, and it's just want him to be happy. But every time any kind of happiness can happen,
That was weird to have that episode like right. They should have had that episode later or something. It was just weird to have him being interested in somebody else like next episode after his wife dies was a little odd.
I mean, they definitely make it clear it's been months, but it's also like,
yeah.
Well, but he does. I think one line in that episode is a really good line where he says, "I guess I really lost my wife a long time ago." He's like, "I just recently lost my wife," and he says, "Well, I actually lost her a long time ago," and I think it's processing that information in a better way after being pissed off at Teal.
Right.
Teal literally saved his life, so complicated stuff. Oh, good television, good eating, good writing.
Yeah.
For
No,
Vala,
I think you're right. I don't know if that's necessarily the best like Vala scene. It's just a best scene overall, and so I think because she's in it, I'm thinking, But anyway, but my favorite scene, if you want me to say now,
go for
it. Is when her and Daniel first meet, Prometheus Unbound. That's probably my favorite Vala, where she's wearing the super soldier outfit, and that's like, yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh,
yeah.
It's silly, but not too. I mean, it's pretty damn silly, but it's a good silly.
Yeah, because then they fight, and she kicks his butt. That's great.
And the remorse over the host was great too.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have thought of that one anyway.
Hostess hood.
I didn't have time to watch the whole series over again and find every good scene. So definitely, if you guys have better things that you think are better, it's fine, because I don't know if I had the time to actually, remember everything.
But literally, where she meets is kind of leading to the remorse. Everything. It's a perfectly fun and great scene. It's very apt in, I guess, Vala sense. And then Vala in a catsuit is always good.
Yep.
Like, I don't think anyone's going to disagree necessarily. But it leads to some great moments. Just introducing us to the exact opposite of who Aaron Moon was. It's kind of great. Aaron Moon, Aaron's son. Every time I say Aaron's son, I actually say Aaron Moon. Now, I did go a little bit different. Not too different, but a little bit different. Where my best scene for Vala, I think, is that final scene between her and Toman, where she gets to have a lot of the feelings that Daniel is displaying to her a few episodes later. To Toman and with Toman, from a little bit different of an angle, obviously, because she is the lead in that relationship in a lot of ways, but the balance in the relationship levels out, and not in a good way, because Toman becomes an Ori and all that kind of crap that happens. But I don't think the Vala and Daniel scene would have hit as well, and I don't know if it could have happened from Vala's point of view if she hadn't have talked to Toman like that.
Yeah.
So I'd go there. She had sympathy. Yep. And that, especially from someone who lived with a duo older than her for who knows how long.
Right. It would have been nice to get more story on that, like how that all happened and how long and all. I don't think we ever learned that much.
I'm Your Mother and I Make the Rules would be my favorite scene from her, actually. I think that'd be my favorite overall, outside of the Daniel thing, is her talking to Teen Adria. I think my favorite and her best moments are two of her three, and the third would be the Daniel moment with her. Are very emotional moments. We always think of her as such a goofy character. She's like, "Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna throw this way, a gun." Like, she's just.
They make her a little cartoonish sometimes.
She's cartoony, and then when she needs to rope herself in and bring in a few moments of just, I guess, despair or just show that she has strength. Damn, they bring it right there. They're good at it. Paula has some great.
Yeah, I think she put up this persona like she's got to be this, tough girl or whatever, but there's a lot of emotion under there.
Oh, a whole bunch.
Yeah.
She brought the Aussie sassiness to the show. That she
Yep.
did.
Mm-hmm.
That she did.
Yep.
And it was nice. She was Xena for Stargate. Hey, that's not a bad reference, honestly.
Yep.
But no, yeah, literally what Joey just said. She was a great actress, and whenever, like you said, those moments kind of needed to have what the character was feeling behind them. Damn, she showed up.
Yeah.
She showed up very well. Excuse me. Now that we've got our two semi SG1s, shall we do our final third semi SG1? Our underdog, who was always kicked to the curb, who was so smart, so helpful, the only person that could actually even slightly fill in the shoes of a Dr. Daniel Jackson. Jonas Quinn.
Yeah.
Our friend, Mr. Corinne Nemec, Jonas Quinn.
I struggled with this one. Finding there's only one season. I just picked a couple small moments. I don't know if these are best or favorite or just what I could think of,
Yeah.
I have a couple notes, but I don't know which one's my favorite and which one's my best. They're kind of about the same, really. But I think I'll go with maybe the best Jonas was when he comes back in season 7. What's the name of the episode? I didn't write it down. Homecoming is the name of the episode, I think, where he comes back and they have to drill down. There's that Gould chick that's in love with him, and they have to drill down into like the center of the earth or whatever, the world, to stop the Naquita reaction from blowing up the planet. There's just some good stuff in there between him and the Gould chick, and at the end there's kind of a nice little scene of just him and Daniel in the gate room, kind of giving each other the thanks for what you did thing from Daniel, sort of. I don't know, it was just kind of an interesting moment to have like the two of them together, and it just seemed like there was the reality was kind of in the backdrop of like, he replaced him, and they're kind of like acknowledging that on some level or something. I don't know. It was just kind of a nice little moment, and that was, I think, the last episode that we see Jonas also.
I think that is. It just makes me want to watch a season with both of them in it. Can we have like a full season?
Oh yeah.
With them? Like, why? He was. It doesn't make any sense. He was the cheaper actor.
Yeah, they were both working together. Well, there is. See, I put as another one. This is just a tiny scene, but I think it's the end of season 6 where I believe they're in the pyramid on Abydos, and Daniel shows up. Ascended Daniel shows up to try and help him, and he's like, "Screw it, I'm gonna help you guys. I don't care what happens with what the ancients think or whatever." And there's this little scene where Daniel looks at Jonas and he whips out some tools, and Daniel's like, "Aren't those my tools?" And Jonas is like, "Well, you weren't using them." And Daniel's like, "Well, yeah, you're right." I just thought it was just a funny, cute little scene.
Yeah, Mike, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That moment always makes me sad.
Yep. Yeah, he kind of did that final look around, and like I said, there's kind of that nice little moment between him and Daniel, and yeah, it's kind of a nice little.
It wouldn't be that sad if he was ever allowed to come back at least just once. Like, it's literally just like, bye.
Yeah. Never see you again. I don't know. Maybe they thought he'd come back again, and just it didn't work out.
No. Oh no, I think they were. There was a reason that look is that forlorn, is because that was Corinne Nemec going, "I don't have a job for the next 3
Yeah, it did have that finality. Just the way him and Daniel. It did have that very like, this is the final moment vibe. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I still feel so bad for Jonas Quinn.
Yeah.
Poor pal.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, Corwin Nemec did a good job. I mean, what else could he do? You know, it's like.
Well,
But it works for the story because having Daniel gone, him just pop up a couple times and then come back, like it works with
it
the
worked
show. You know.
really well, but it
Mhm.
just feels like, oh, y'all just one actor wanted to leave, and now he immediately asked to come back, and now he's back, and you're
Yeah.
just kicking the other one to the curb. It's like there's a better
Yeah.
way to handle that. Hey, hindsight's 2020, but
Mhm.
there's always a better way to handle something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe that homecoming episode was kind of that because it was very centered on him, and they give him a love story even, and maybe that was their sort of tribute to him doing what he did. Was that episode? Kind of feels like
Yeah.
it. Mhm.
I needed a bigger tribute.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
Yeah.
The Walking Dead. Hey, spoilers for The Walking Dead season, I think 8. But when they kill Carl off in The Walking Dead, the TV show, you're like, why? Why did you? What? Huh?
Yeah, they like to kill off your favorite people.
Well,
Glenn and
that makes sense at all. It's like this is Rick's kid, and this is like the main person for the story, especially in the comic books that were very much still being written at the time and still acting going with Carl. The only reason they killed off Chandler Rigg, the actor, because he turned 18 and had to be paid as an adult, and he was asking for more money, and it just feels like it was one of those things where it's like, oh, now we have to pay 2 actors. You're the little fish. Get out of here.
Right.
I feel bad for Jonas always.
Yeah.
But my favorite moment for Jonas, because I guess we kind of you got your 2, and now I got to jump in here and finish off this win here. I think my favorite moment is a little fun quip between him and everybody, all of SG1 sitting around the conference table that they're always meeting at.
Yeah.
Is when they're talking about Adrian Conrad, and Sam's like, Adrian Conrad, and Jonas is like, and she calls him out. She's like, you know exactly who he is, don't you? He's like, yeah, I've done a lot of reading, and he memorizes things faster. He is
right. Yeah, they gave him that photographic memory thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's remembering all these different things, and just for a moment, he's like, yeah, I know everything you've been talking about. I just didn't want to come off as strange to everybody else. And he literally, everyone just looks at him and is like, no, you don't come off as strange. And then he goes, what about Jack? Or maybe Sam goes, what about Jack? And he's like, I come off as strange to people. And it's just a really funny little moment where it's a self kind of thing for Jonas, but it happens in front of everybody. It's great. Yeah. You read all the strange.
Yep.
But I think his best moment, I'm trying to think, besides turning away from the gate, this is definitely his best moment in my opinion, would be when Nirti is there and she's trying to kill everyone. And she has him there and she thinks, oh, maybe you're like hypnotized, or she's got him under some kind of little spell to some degree. And Jonas, she's like, what if I told you we could leave kind of deal and you could do this or whatever? And he's like, he responds with, what if I told you I am going to use whatever you give me to go down there and free my friends and destroy you? And not necessarily in that order. And it's just like a very, he's supposed to be like hypnotized-ish, but he's just saying it with a very straight face. And then finally, after saying it, makes the eye contact. And it's just a great thing. I love it. It's like Nirti is actually going, ooh. And when he says it, she's like, oh, there's something I still have to deal with here.
Right. Is that the episode where they find like all those people that she's experimented on and stuff? Is it that episode? Okay.
I believe so.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing salvageable about Nirti. Her host even wanted to kill everyone.
Yeah.
She bad. She
Mhm.
bad. Too bad to be good.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, no. Near 2 was a
Mhm.
great character. But and
Mhm.
Jonas actually dealt with it. So
Mhm.
props to Jonas on that one. And I think that's one of his better actual scenes.
Yeah.
But I think was it Mike or was it Joey that said that turning around and just finally that last look is just the saddest look in the world.
Yeah, it is very like, bye. I wish I could still be on this show.
There's so many things in that look. The look
Yeah.
is definitely, oh, there goes my paychecks. Oh, there goes my friend. Oh, back to the place I was ostracized in. Oh, excuse my French, but just fuck. Like,
Yeah.
he just such a bad look. He's like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Mhm.
But it's, yeah. Well, now that we are into our mainline SG1 folk,
Mhm.
who shall we start with?
Sam.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I only have one written down for Sam. I haven't figured out a favorite. There's just so many freaking things to choose from. And then my brain goes to like Atlantis a little bit or something. It just goes back and forth.
Right.
What I
Well, when we
chose
do
for
Atlantis, we can do those.
Sam, that's true. That's
We'll
a
have
good
to
point.
decide with Atlantis because we got oh my
That's
gosh,
gonna be
what's her
interesting.
We have Weir, her, and
Woolsey.
Woolsey. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. For Sam's best episode, that's the one I do have written down.
okay, go ahead.
Is whenever Jacob and Selmac die,
Mm-hmm.
and she's kind of having her final moments that she knows she's going to be able to have with her father.
Mm-hmm.
It's damn good acting. It's a beautiful moment from what's the actor's name? Carmen and Guanizo.
Carmen something.
And
Very,
Guanizo,
it's kind
something
of
like
a
that.
yeah. He
I think
passed
he's
away
actually
years ago.
passed away.
Mhm.
But his acting's amazing in that, and of
Mhm.
course, Miss Amanda
Yeah.
Tappet, some of
Yeah.
her best scenes in the entire show.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that would be my favorite. Or no, excuse me, the best scene that I would choose for Sam on the show.
Right.
My favorite, I guess, the one that I have to think of, if I have to choose real quick, is the final episode.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't choose this for Teal, but I literally wrote "or" and then put it in there just in case. Is the final Indeed. When Teal has his final Indeed, we talked about it last week a little bit. It's just, it's so sad. It's beautiful. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's whenever I think my favorite moment is when Sam realizes for that little moment of, hey, we got to stop. I know we're having fun trying to play these guessing games.
Yeah.
But it's got to hurt Teal'c a whole bunch just to hear us even trying to talk about this. It's got to be bringing up memories of literally the last 5 decades.
Yeah, he remembers every minute of it. So
yeah. And he's just Indeed, and that Indeed's prompted by Sam, but that's a really good one. Such a good. Yep. That might be my favorite Sam. The final one. But yeah.
All right, so mine, that one with this would be probably like this is the best. Of course, the one that you mentioned is probably the best, but I came up with one. It's also a scene with Jacob / Selmac when season 7, episode 13 called Grace, where she gets trapped in this. They're traveling on is it the Prometheus? I think it is. Anyway, and they get attacked by this alien ship, and then the ship goes into this like nebula kind of thing, and Sam has a concussion, and so she's kind of hallucinating, and there's a good scene between her and her dad where she's where he's talking to her about, that she needs to have a life outside of Stargate. She needs to have, relationships. She needs to have something that isn't just about this. It's kind of a good touching little scene, father-daughter scene. It's really well done. My favorite is probably that episode. I didn't write down what episode it was, but the one where she has to fight the super soldier dude. Where it's
Oh
just her
yeah,
fighting the super soldier guy. She's like a badass. That's really, yeah, that's good. That's great.
yeah, that's a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many. Like Sam has so
Yeah.
many great moments within every
Mm-hmm.
episode.
Right.
But and to Amanda Tapping's quality of an actor, I guess
Mm-hmm.
she might have, I guess, the least amount of truly heavy hitting scenes. And I hate
Mm-hmm.
to say it, but part of it is just she's the main like woman character on the show, so they're
Right.
like, let's give you a boyfriend. Oh, that didn't work out. Let's give you another boyfriend. Oh, that didn't work out. Let's give you another boyfriend. And that kind of happens a few times.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
within all of the almost every other person's big moments happen from something that Sam is either prompted or is like leading into happen. And not all of them, of course. We've talked about some great ones that aren't that, but
Mm-hmm.
she is very, very as a character, and I guess like everybody's saying is
Mm-hmm.
behind the camera just as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, the character is supposed to be capable, but capable is
Mm-hmm.
the word I would use to describe Sam or Amanda Tapping just in general, because whether they're giving her all the best scenes, which they don't really,
Mm-hmm.
she chews up everything they ever give her. And
Oh yeah.
even though they did try to toss a couple little boyfriends over back and forth, yada
Right.
yada, and it did
Mm-hmm.
kind of go like, all right, here's a little bit of an eye roll, but still fun. The only
Right.
reason that was so good is because it was Amanda Tapping. A
Mm-hmm.
lesser actor, and not to
Mm-hmm.
say there were any lesser actors, but like a lesser actor that just didn't have the same amount of talent as Amanda Tapping has would have
Mm-hmm.
made all that stuff boring, and the show probably wouldn't have lasted as long.
Right. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
go Amanda Tapping. But as we move on, wait, did you say you gave a favorite best, didn't you? Yeah, okay. Did you give a best? Or you gave a best,
Yeah,
but
the
not a
best was that scene in Grace between her and her dad, and my favorite is the one where she's fighting the super soldier.
Oh, duh. Okay, yeah, Super
Mhm.
Soldier.
Yeah.
I got caught in my
Yeah.
soapbox.
Mhm.
Forgot what it happened. She's every bit as great as Kate Mulgrew.
Yeah.
I only know Kate Mulgrew from one show, and I didn't watch it, so I'm on
Yeah.
Team Tapping. I don't know, sorry. But once I get there, one day. Ellie,
Yep.
howdy.
Mhm.
We have 3 options left.
Let's go with Teal'c.
Okay.
I know that this one's kind of a little hard.
Well, no, I think Jack and Daniel they literally started Stargate. They're the
Mhm.
perfect SG1 conversation like this with.
Mhm.
So what's our boy Teal'c doing? What are your favorite and your best moments for him?
Oh. Well, my best is the episode Threshold. I think it's season 5. Anyway, it's the one where Teal'c gets brainwashed and convinced that he's still Apophis' first
Ooh.
prime, and we kind of get the flashback to how he became prime and how him and Braytak kind of started this little revolutionary thinking of that they're not gods and all that stuff. It's hard to pick one specific scene because there's just lots of several scenes between him and Braytak kind of going through that journey. One that stands out, I guess, is when Teal'c gets made first prime of Apophis and runs to Braytak all excited, and Braytak's like, why are you all excited? You know he's not a god. You know what that we're trying to undermine this and free our people and whatever it was. But it was like just a good scene where he had to kind of remind Teal'c of, what they were really the bigger picture they were trying to do and stuff. And then of course, you get flashbacks to Children of the Gods when that moment he decides to turn and shoots the other Jaffa guys or whatever when they escape and all that. That's probably my favorite, I think. Best, it's really hard. Best. I did write. I cheated a little bit and wrote like midway from Atlantis, but I suppose I should save that for when we get to Atlantis. But that scene between
But
him
it's
and
something to remember.
Ronan is great. When they meet and spar, it's great.
There wasn't like an equivalent in SGU that would have been a fun little trifecta meet, but also you couldn't really do that anyway. So, well, maybe what's his name from SGU? Mike Dopa's character that I can't think of right now.
Greer?
No, well, Greer. It would either be Greer or Lucian Alliance guy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's not Vala, but it's like it's not Val, but it's something like that. It's a V, I think. But yeah.
I can't remember his name, but the Lucian Alliance guy, yeah, he has like him and TJ kind of have a thing.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I think he was in SG1 as well, wasn't he?
He was in both. I think he's been in every Stargate, besides I guess the movies.
Yeah, I always think like he's your favorite character, but that's a different actor. But
he would have been a good Arisbach Jr. if they would have gone that route.
Yeah.
And then I could have been a good Arisbach III, or still could be. Amazon, somebody, I don't know. Hopefully, please, fingers crossed.
Just saying.
Just throwing it out there.
I don't know. Maybe they'll have us in. They'll do a stupid, like, sort of like a 200 or a Wormhole Extreme kind of episode, and they're gonna have YouTubers in it or something.
If they need to really ingratiate themselves with like modern culture, it would be funny to have a bunch of like break the fourth wall a little bit, add that little bit of meta in, which would be fun.
The 400.
Okay, so my Teal'c episode. You mentioned it already. I think the best Teal'c moment or scene, I did put Orr and put his final indeed on there. But if that's not the best, if his final moment's not the best, I think his first moments are. Whenever he turns around and shoots the Jaffa and decides to join SG1. The amount of emotion you can read off of that guy's face who is not saying a damn word.
Right.
That early in the season or series in general.
Right. Not a lot of words.
All we know is, he's the lieutenant, the main bad guy. And in that moment, he sets the stage for the entirety of Stargate. The rest of Stargate happens because of Teal'c at that moment. And I think it's just such a great. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is that moment you see the turn. That precise moment where he makes that turn. That might be the favorite because that's where you start liking him as a character, and it starts like, okay, who is this guy that turned? And then we find out more about it later, but.
Well, you see the desperation from Jack. You see the desperation from Daniel. They know each other, but they have different types of desperation nonetheless. Yeah, they've been on mission before, but like it's not like they've been on a whole bunch. Daniel's desperate and like, we need to save these people. What can be done? Oh wait, we need to save ourselves. How can we save everybody? And Jack, his version of desperation is, we're going to save these people. It's not how. It's I'm just going to start shooting. Right. And Teal'c sees that in both their faces and sees Sam, who's like, I just got here, at that time. She's like, I'm still trying to prove myself that I'm more than just a skirt walking around. I'm a genius that can shoot pretty much better than most other people, too.
Right.
She hasn't been able to prove that just yet. So it's Teal'c seeing all those faces and then still saying, oh, yeah, I think we have a chance. And then taking the freaking chance of doing it. It's so good. A skirt candle. I was like, how do I? What word to use? I was like, just something easy. I would say my favorite Teal'c scene is whenever Braytak is. I wrote it down. Is going through the right of Malsharan. where he's getting a symbiote removed, and you just get the trust that Braytak has and everybody else in the room, Tauri human-wise, for Teal'c, where they're like, okay, obviously Teal'c is a badass. Obviously Teal'c is helpful to have in a room when you need to fight somebody. He has a good little indeed and a funny little quip every now and then, especially now that he's learning stuff about humanity and Earth. He's going to have some funny stuff. He likes Die Hard. Great scene. But when all of that comes to a head and you get to see Braytak's full trust in Teal'c, saying, okay, not only do I trust you, I trust the people that you've befriended, that I'm friends with too, but they're your friends, and they're going to irrevocably change my life and take the thing that's been keeping me alive and keeping me well and strong for over 200 years at that point, or 180 years, whatever it is for Braytak at that point.
Yeah, it's like 130 something. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So for what we would consider almost countless decades, in our lifespan,
right?
Someone living within that being, or having that being living within them, that's your everything in a lot of ways. And Braytak still trusts Teal'c enough to say, you and your buds, your people, they're my people too.
Yeah, that's cool.
They've taken in our people. We're friends. Help me. And it's just great. I love it so much.
I always love how Braytak's like Hammond of Texas. He always calls it.
Tony Amendola is just so perfect. As Braytak, I know everybody might not have played Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor, but Tony Amendola plays Eno Cordova, an old Jedi that survived Order 66 in the games. And he's so good. I'll be a little happy for that too. Tony Amendola gets a happy dance any day. The right of Ma'al Sharan. M'_AL Sharan. SHARAN. But yeah, that's what it was. Ham sandwich attack. Don't make me hungry. Literally after our streams, half the time Sarah and I are like, we should go work out. Yeah, I'm gonna go work out. And then it's also hungry. It's either working out or food, typically. Or giant conversations after these. We go Stargate straight to food. Talk about my Sharona. Anything else we need to say about Teal'c? I think Teal'c.
There's a lot of good moments. It's just hard to remember them all, but any stuff between him and Braytak is great. There's a lot of stuff between him and Jack that's good too, but there's also the episode, I guess, that had was it Erica Durance in it, where he's living, where Teal'c has an apartment in town or whatever, and she plays that young girl that kind of, I don't know, has an abusive boyfriend or something, and he gets himself in trouble trying to help her out.
That's a good episode.
Yeah.
Not a great Stargate episode necessarily, but it's a great Teal'c episode. You get good Teal'c from.
Yep.
Braytak is also always a good actor. I almost chose for Jonas whenever him and Teal'c go into, or essentially everybody's last hopes, because everybody else has been not taken over by Goa'uld at that point, I guess, but have been hypnotized, or that whole town's been kind of hypnotized and taken over by young Goa'uld symbiotes. Everybody goes in there to help. And Jonas and Teal'c go into the bar, and the entire bar is just kind of looking at them weird, and they're just having that discussion of on Earth, human pubs. They're is this how it's supposed to be, or whatever? I don't know exactly what they say.
Because they're both not. It's that. I just thought of that. No, I kind of vaguely remember that scene you were talking about, and it's oh yeah, that's two people not from Earth doing a mission for Earth.
Yeah, and they're
or whatever.
Are we doing this right? Are we having a conversation right? This is such a cool thing. But also, I almost chose just because it's the most tender I feel like we ever see Teal'c, even whenever he's with his wife in the early seasons, and sometimes even with Ryak. But the most tender I think we ever see Teal'c outside the Braytac moments are
Right.
well, I don't remember the actress name. The lady that played T'Pol on Star Trek Enterprise. When she comes in,
she was the was she the leader of the female Jafar, or
she
a
was
group of
the
female
leader of
Jafar?
that female Jaffa warrior, like
Yeah,
Amazonian warrior.
they had like a thing, right? I don't know what ever happened to her. They just kind of
Well, she came back like for 1 or 2, maybe 3 episodes.
right.
But Blaylock, there we go.
Yeah, Jolene Blaylock.
Jolene Blaylock, there we go.
Yeah.
When she comes in, that's the only moments where Teal'c is like, I hate to say it because he was married at the beginning of the show. It's like, I love my wife, and then it's kind of like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, but it was his wife.
She was cheating.
He had moved on. She moved. She like dumped him, I think, right?
True. I guess it wasn't necessarily like cheating on because he'd been the Chauvin for so long. I was like, what's the word?
Right.
Chauvin.
And then wasn't she with the Apophis or whatever? And
not Apophis,
brainwashed his son and all that.
That one guy that was still a big, I guess, friends with both of them, but was leading them on. So Teal'c would be taken. Teal'c's wife
I think she does die in the end, but I think their relationship's kind of over before then. I think
it was definitely over before.
Yeah, or strained at least.
So I just feel like those are some of the moments besides like when he's being tender with his friends. This is the only time we see him being tender with someone that he doesn't like truly care about already.
Right.
By the time like we've gotten to know him. Because I think Braytac's the only person he cares about that, besides Ryak, that we already know, I guess. Right. Or that he already knows prior to meeting SG1 and hanging out with everybody. He's just got so many good Teal'c is Teal'c. He's our man. Felt like T'Pol on an away mission as Teal'c's wife. She just grew her hair out and hung out for a bit. In the sun a whole bunch. It turned them off. But I think that Arnold was chose just because I like the tender moments that Teal'c has, and it gives him a little agency too for the last couple seasons. Even if she's not there a whole bunch, I believe she's mentioned a couple times. Just like I think so. Keeping up with the Joneses a little bit, It's just a good one. It's a good one. To our final two.
Oh God.
Let's end it with Daniel, because he's our old space Jesus. And we already know one of the things that we're going to say. So to close the bookmark off.
There's a lot with Daniel, but anyway. But he's my favorite character, so that's probably why those stand out.
Me too. And he is, acting-wise, he has particularly a lot of great things too. But so does Jack.
Yep.
Would you have Ishta? Is that the wife? Not the wife. Excuse me. That's Jolene Blaylock's character. Space so. Jesus. Jack though.
My
best and favorite.
Again, it's hard to make that distinction between these two. My best, I'm going to go best with the season 6, episode 15, Paradise Lost. That's where him and Mayburn get trapped on that moon, and he eats that the arugula or whatever that makes you paranoid and crazy. Where Mayborn eats that arugula that makes you paranoid and crazy, and so it's just it's hard to pick one specific scene, but it's a lot of them, kind of sparring off against each other, and it's Jack being more like serious, military mind Jack, not the snarky stuff we see a lot of the times. and just the way that interaction between the two of them is great. And then at the end, and also
Grenade
Mayburn says, "You shot me," like a couple times in that, which made me remember that Atlantis episode where McKay's like, "You shot me," and I'm like, I wonder if that was that intentional. Anyway, anyway, so he's got Mayborn laying by a fire and he's gonna die, and then they kind of have a nice little conversation, and he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna send you back to prison. I'll have the Tok'ra take you somewhere else," which I guess ends up being that planet where he becomes king, right?
Yeah.
But so that might be the best Jack in that, because there's some of him. Yeah. Yep. Um But I think my favorite is them in Chain Reaction together. That's the same episode where Hammond is forced, the NID blackmails him into retiring, and they have to go run around. He gets Mayburn out of jail, and they're running around, and they go visit Kinsey and get the dirt on him that he's involved with the NID, and there's just the best scene from that episode of them is probably when he goes to visit Mayborn in prison to get his help. There's a great scene there between the two of them. It's just an awesome Jack and Mayburn episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm still pissed off. Earlier, you said the word Mayborn, and my brain went, "Duh!" I was like, "How did I not?"
Yeah, just him and Mayborn stuff is always great. It's really good.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Hey, and I got the pleasure of, I guess, semi-meeting Tom McBeath, Mr. Mayborn himself. He led a quiz that I completely failed.
I watched that. I remember that now. Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy too. It's just
he was there just for a little bit, I guess, before stream, and just for a little bit after. Didn't get to hang out for a whole bunch, but the few moments that were hanging out were pretty fun. He seems like a very jovial dude. Very much like the good. He seems like Mayborn as a king, just hanging out. Tom McBeath.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's great.
Yeah, God, I went a little more serious with it. Oops.
That's fine.
I love those moments.
Serious here too.
Moment, I get a little artsy fartsy, and I like my little actor moments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they inform everything else. That all the funny stuff that also I'm freaking in love with, and love the episodes and scenes and all those things. They're informed by those emotional moments, so my brain just naturally goes to those emotional moments first. So, surprise, Jack being tortured by Ball the first time we get to meet Ball.
That was on my list.
I think it's the best moments from him. I just love it so much. And he adds his dry, witty humor as a way of keeping himself from going crazy, from being literally ripped in pieces and put back together by Ball, essentially.
Yep.
Over and over. And over and over. And over and over.
Yeah.
Did I mention over and over? Because they do it a few times.
Yeah.
And it's so damn good. Cliff Simon and RA, of course, just the two of them together can just chew up a scene. And they do it so well. And the best part is, it was probably in a room about this size, and just some back room. They're like, all right, dress it up, put like some colors in there, make it look like it's part of Egypt or something. All right, let those two go at it.
Yeah.
That's all they need to do. That is all they need to do. Just so damn good. My favorite is another little emotional moment that might bring some tears to people's eyes. It's when Jack and Daniel reunite after Daniel's come back from Ascension. That just moment is just like, oh
yeah.
That talk about a bromance. Where was it up here?
Yeah.
Oh, and O'Neill and Mayborn's bromance. Jack and Daniel's bromance is.
Oh, that's the best. I mean, that's the OG, right? It's from the movie, it's like, I'm sure there are Jack and Daniel shippers. I'm not
There's
going to
no-
explore that avenue of fan fiction. Sorry, if it exists, it probably
Surprise.
does. There's so much stuff. I mean, I didn't, there's a million. I mean, I hit on the Mayburn stuff, but there's so much between him and Daniel you can hit on, between him and Sam,
him and
even
Teal
a
can
couple
have
good
more.
things. It's just,
So much.
mm-hmm,
And then him and Daniel just is that cherry on top. You're like, oh, y'all are the whipped cream and the cherry. Surprise.
mm-hmm,
That's just so good.
mm-hmm.
His hopelessness and abyss feels so real. Excellent.
Right.
It's some of the best
Yeah.
acting I think RDA has ever done.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
He's got some great moments.
Mm-hmm.
He's we all love RDA because he's not necessarily like that guy that's
Right.
gonna be like, give me the
Or
best
should-
monologue ever. It needs to be 2 pages. I want to bring this emotion by the end. We know him as the guy that's like, give me 2 lines of dialogue. If I got to say past that, I'm not saying it. Have a nice day. See you later. It's like, all right, there's our RDA.
Well, I think they got him to do more than that for this episode, right? I don't know. But the stuff with him and Daniel, when Daniel shows up and talks to him too, it's like that's all great.
I don't know how much of it was written, and I would think most of it was probably written down, but some of it feels like just Jack O'Neill saying some things that are just coming to mind too, which might be RDA doing some riffing and doing a little bit of improv, but I can't imagine it's a whole bunch.
No, I think that was like
I'd love to see some in-depth behind the scenes of just that. So honestly, I'm sure they're around.
Yeah, I'll have to look on the DVDs. I have the Blu-rays that have the special features. I should dig in there and see if they've got what anything on that.
All right. Arabian Flower brought up a good point. While we're on the subject of the first episode, Shara deserved better. She was a favorite of mine. I know we were talking about that just a second ago, first episode wise, but Shara could have been handled a little bit better.
Yeah, I wish they would have sort of wrapped up the whole Sheree thing. Well, it would have been nice to have a couple more episodes with her in it too.
Yeah.
But I think they should have ended all that by the end of season 2. Like instead, I think they drug it out a season longer than they needed to.
Late 3, is that?
It was season 3 before she dies and all that. I think they should have had that maybe like the end of season 2, kind of wrap up that story and then kind of move things faster along in terms of like them, the child and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? While we're speaking of the band,
Mm-hmm.
might be the perfect way to transition into our favorite Daniel and our best Daniel episodes. I love Michael Shank's young awkward first steps as Daniel trying to fill James Spader's shoes awkwardly, and then just letting it go and bringing himself to the role.
Oh yeah.
When he showed us his own self, he's a cool dude. Like he'd like to hang around with. Totally. Oh, Arabian Flower. She was supposed to stay on the show, but the actress asked to be written.
Right.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, she probably had interesting experience being the only person in all of Stargate that was like, oh, you need to be nude on a table for a scene or two. It's like the only person in the entire Stargate to be asked like that. I could see a little bit of
Okay. I think it could be some little awkwardness to have to like work with an ex or whatever, So
it wasn't bad. It was just because she went on maternity leave. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because she had their daughter. Yeah.
Oh, but Joe says drama between Michael and actress.
Maybe later on it could have been. I don't know. Who knows? We don't know. I mean,
It is all
she
here.
did have a baby, so I get it.
Yeah, it was, as Joey says, showtime.
Yep.
But yeah, Daniel Jackson, the man, the myth, Stargate Space Jesus. He is Call of Atreides. He is Anakin Skywalker. He is Dr. Daniel Jackson.
Yeah. There's
that's good.
So much there we could go. I don't even know. Yeah.
David said the one where Daniel died or the one where Daniel died. Oh, or the one where Daniel died.
Well, I think one of my favorite scenes with Daniel, I think, is Meridian when him and Jack have a little chat before he ascends. I think that's probably my favorite Daniel scene.
I wrote the exact same thing.
Right. And as we also said before, the unending scene with Vala is great. There's just like 100 things you could, you know.
Those are mine too.
Um,
I think the best scene is him and Vala having that fight, and then
mhm,
coming to terms of, oh,
mhm.
we love each other. This is something that needs to actually like be a
Right.
thing. Are we gonna let it? I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
It's
Are we gonna
like
drop our guard? Are we gonna lower our
it,
guards and do this?
it's just so much
So,
both of them, and like that
mhm,
sense where they're both, oh, we now actually understand each other.
mhm.
But there's still that little bit of hesitation right after, and of course, we don't think that
Right.
hesitation probably lasts realistically.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
but it's so much in both their characters to still be like, oh, we've been through some shit.
Yeah.
Are we gonna dive in or no? Even after knowing everything and all cards are laid out on the table,
Mhm.
are we gonna do it? Are we? Are we? And it's just we don't get to see that, and we get
Yeah.
to kind of make our little own
Yeah.
headcanon about that. But damn,
Mhm.
it's just great.
Yeah. No, her opening herself up and making herself vulnerable to him, and then him like kind of yelling at her like, "Well, is this for real, or are you just playing me because you want to get laid or whatever?" Um,
And
yeah.
and you feel so bad for
Right.
her,
Mhm.
and you feel so bad for Daniel too, because you're
Right.
like, oh, he's not being a dick. He's hurting. He's hurting
Yeah.
big time. It's good.
Yeah, he just was lashing out because she kind of, and to be honest, she did toy with him a lot, and so he had to kind of build this wall to kind of not let that get to him. And then all of a sudden, here she is like, "Oh, I'm for real," and he's like, "What are you even talking about? How am I
Yeah.
supposed to, you better be for real," kind of thing,
It's
Yeah.
like, don't lead me into this and
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
disappear. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, so
Hmm.
But I did put my favorite as that Daniel finally is sitting and him and Jack having that conversation before he just finally
Hmm.
bites the bullet for the first time, of course.
Yeah, and it feels like the tears there are real because this was him actually, for real leaving the show, and so a lot of those words there kind of have that deeper meaning of like what's really happening in the real, for real, which is really good too. Yeah.
So good.
Hmm.
Like both that moment and the Jonas Quinn leaving moment are
Hmm.
probably the most well besides the ball. Excuse me. Besides the Vala and Daniel moment, because the Vala and Daniel moment is something that I feel like I could name half a dozen freaking people that either should be couples or are couples who
Hmm.
probably had a similar argument, if I had to guess, which
Right.
it just felt like an actual conversation that would happen in real life.
Hmm.
That look that Jonas goes away with,
Hmm.
to see past just Stargate, it's like, okay, well, there's my job for the next couple of years, and that there
Right.
goes the last 2 years
Hmm.
of this
Right.
joyous little franchise that I've been able to join.
And
Where
the political climate he's got to live in on his home planet too, where they're just all like children squabbling these three nations or
it's
continents
like,
or whatever. And it's just so stupid.
and then Michael Shanks brings that same look whenever he's just saying, I'm going. I gotta
Hmm.
go.
Oh yeah, because he kind of walks off through the gate, or I guess it becomes a portal to the ascended lands or whatever he goes. Yeah, exactly.
No, somebody mentioned it earlier. I think you might have been the person to mention it, Joey. Um,
Mhm.
I would love a standalone Stargate of Langara. That would be awesome.
Mhm.
Um, where is it? Yeah, she did toy with him. I always thought they should have done a better job at addressing how she harassed
Mhm.
him.
Yeah, it was
Maybe
supposed to be just comedic, but then you kind of find out it's sort of like it was bothering him. It got to him.
if they
So,
would have addressed it, I don't think that
mhm.
moment would have been.
Right.
It felt
Mhm.
more natural, and like I just said
Mhm.
a second ago, it was like real in that sense.
Yeah.
But also for Daniel's sake, you would want him to kind of have a little like, hey, stop, like
Right.
some kind of conversation. But there's
Yeah.
so many other things going on. They're literally in the midst of the world dying for the last two. From when she meets him to when the series ends, the whole world's about to literally be run over by religious zealots the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's thinking about some other things.
Yeah.
So whenever that moment kind of finally happens, it's just damn, it hits ahead, but it hits ahead well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Joey also.
Right. Yeah, but I wrote this down because I can never remember her name. Oma DeSala, right? For some reason, I have a hard time remembering your name, so I wrote it down. I'm gonna remember it. I keep forgetting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's.
Oh, and that's good. I forgot about that too. Absolute Power, where the child, the Harcesis, is that how you say it? Anyway, the child, shows him what having all the power of the Gould will do. And Daniel turns out evil and stuff. That's like really good too. And Lifeboat again, where he's got to play out those different characters. It's just
yeah.
So
every time he gets to play a little, you can tell when Michael Shanks is actually having fun. You remember the episode whenever they're training? I think it's the second episode with Lieutenant Haley and everybody, Jennifer Haley.
Oh yeah. That's a funny moment too, where he's wearing the voice modulator.
He gets to be the Gould for a moment and literally just pops up and goes pop 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 pop. It's like, hi! You can just tell he had a good time. You're
and
like,
he leaves it on, and like Jack has to tell him to like turn that thing on. That was great. That was great. I love. Oh, that's great when he pops up and shoots everybody. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Modest Traveler's asking, how do you get XP? I believe you comment in there, and I'm not entirely sure. The more you interact.
The higher your ranking.
I believe that's how.
So yeah.
But Oma Day Conflicted. Talk about commitment problems.
Yeah, because she's trying to balance that thing, and then she screwed things up with Anubis, where he's kind of caught halfway in between or whatever, or she didn't realize it was Anubis or whatever happened there. She screwed up. Oh, and then there's that too with Daniel, that whole diner episode with Ama DeSala, and where he talks to Anubis and
George Dzunda or Zunza. I don't know if the D is silent or not. It's either Dzunza or Zunza. Mel Harris, Tadoma, great actress. All right.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, can we have a mention for the guy who played Anubis on the Ascended Plane? Of course.
The guy in the diner. That was a great Daniel episode. Also, just so good.
Portrayed by George. It's either Dzunza or just Zunza.
Yeah.
But yeah, great performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to get into it right now. It's going to be a whole episode. Would be a good thing to do after we get done with these little talking about our favorite SG1, SGA, SGU moments and the best moments as well.
Mm-hmm.
He chewed that scenery like he owned it. That he did.
Yep.
That came to mind right there.
Because
we're about to be at the hour and a half mark. We can kind of start winding this thing down and start thinking about the future a little bit. Do our laundry list, our housekeeping, as we say.
We remembered.
I'll have to do laundry list to like jog the brain back into the right place.
Yeah.
But another good episode for, I guess, Stargate Outpost would be our favorite one-off actors. And why is Erisbach the best one?
Because we did the recurring kind of thing and mentioned some of them, but we didn't do.
Well, like this version of Anubis is a one-off character.
Yep.
Contraya is a one-off character. Erisbach is a one-off character. Vala's crazy dad, played by he just died. What's his name? Great comedian.
It wasn't Richard Kind, was it?
No, it's not.
Or that was
Richard
the
Kind.
other guy. I always get him and that guy mixed up.
Vala.
Oh yes, I know the guy you're thinking of. I can't think of the name, but I picture him in
Fred
my
Willard.
head.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
And Jakic or Jacek is the guy's name.
Mhm.
Right here. Fred Willard.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Which, rest in peace. Such a good comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Comedic actor. I guess he did some
Yeah.
on-stage comedy as well. Some Dom DeLuise. Mr. Contria.
Oh yeah, he was in one episode. Oh no, that guy, the guy was the Chemtria, the android planet thing. But he's in more than one episode. But he's in 2 episodes. Because doesn't he come back in Double Jeopardy?
Oh yeah.
So.
He kind of counts as a one-off, I'd say. Still though, like Ergo, Sam. I remind you of your uncle, Bobola, or whatever, Bubala. That's right.
Yeah.
But really, once.
John Delancey. He did more than one though. Didn't he do a couple? Maybe it was just one.
Oh, okay. Charles asked, nobody's mentioned any Stargate rumors in ages.
Yeah.
Well, you might want to check out last Sunday's live stream. We talked a whole bunch about
right.
Brad Wright has suggested as much, I guess. He hasn't confirmed by any means. No confirmation here. But
Nothing's
he said,
been confirmed, no.
I'm confident that there will be a Stargate revival. Is his words. And if the words come from the horse's mouth like that, if he's confident at least, I'm excited. We will let you know as confirmations actually happen. But yeah, it's a keep in the faith moment, and it seems like it is kind of Fred Wright is evangelizing now.
And then also those, the changes at Amazon recently too, kind of bode well. Again, it's all just like things that, things. It's looking good, it's sounding good, but we don't know anything yet.
It's all speculation at the moment, but the puzzle pieces are being put together, and we at least have the ability to open our eyes and see those puzzle pieces being moved. Now, we hope they move into a puzzle piece that's the Stargate back together, but we'll see.
Yes. Yes, we hope it's making a circle. Yeah.
More excuses than a racing driver. I know. Yell at Amazon and let's get Amazon to get this thing on our screen.
Well, we're getting Spaceballs too.
Thankfully. And the 2 things that, of course, we joke about. Legally Blonde being the thing we joke about.
Right.
But I can't believe Spaceballs is the thing they're starting with. They have James Bond.
I know. That was like, I remember us talking like 2-3 years ago, like that was like the bottom of the list thing. And now that's the only thing that's getting done.
I guess when you only have Mel Brooks alive for so much longer, you do what you can when you can. And if he's willing to come back for a little go-gurt, hell yeah.
And what's his name's coming out of retirement to do the helmet?
Rick Moranis. There we go. I need to turn around to figure out his name, apparently.
Yeah.
Elon asked him to make Spaceballs. Throw the old fans a bone. The new Stargate Infinity cartoon. That is another episode that we've talked about that we want to do. Is we need to just binge Stargate Infinity and Stargate Origins at different points, and then talk about the retrospective thing, or respective things per show. We'll figure that out. That'll be. We still have 2 more outposts. One about SGA's main cast list and their best and favorite episodes, or scenes, excuse me.
We can pick who's going to be on that list of the main.
Yeah, y'all want to kind of think about that before we head out here? We're at that hour and a half mark. That might be a fun little thing just to to dial down. I'm also too happy with. Oh, I'm not too happy with the new cast of Highlander.
Yeah. I haven't.
I don't dislike it. Russell Crowe is now Ramirez.
Oh, okay.
I don't like Russell Crowe as Ramirez. I like Russell Crowe as what the hell are they called? What was not the alien?
The Kurgan?
not the Kurgan. He's the bad guy. But what are they
Okay.
called? Are they just Highlanders?
Just other.
What is their like?
Oh,
Species?
like what are they called? Immortals?
Immortals. Yeah. Okay. I think it's just like
Yeah.
Russell Crowe's uniting with Henry Cavill, just like Man of Steel.
Mhm.
That's the part that I'm like.
Oh yeah.
Joey said Scots, McLeod,
Yeah. Except for
Clans.
Australian.
Well, that's all
Clans.
Scottish as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a family reunion.
That had to do with but not
Thank
all
you.
Immortals are Scottish.
Yeah.
So
Besides the one that's supposed to be Egyptian/Spanish that just looks and speaks like a Scottish guy. Okay.
yeah, it's like, we'll just let Sean Connery be Sean Connery.
Hey, Russian Sean Connery sounded just like Scottish Sean Connery too. So Arabian Flower, though, thank you for hanging with us. You're welcome to come back anytime. Come hang out. We do these every other Wednesday, every other Friday. We talk Fallout. We talk stuff every Sunday, just sci-fi in general. And for our Patreon, we talk and watch the Farscape, which I have never seen, and Sarah hasn't seen in a while. So we're kind of just diving in. And, that's a lot of fun. But the Immortals, yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind Russell Crowe being random immortal from one of the McLeod clans over there, or but like not like I don't think Ramirez for Russell Crowe. Like, come on. Russell Crowe's Australian. How did you get from Scott to Australian?
Maybe he'll be good at doing a Scott. I don't know, but we don't know if his character is going to be Scottish or not.
I doubt it.
I mean, obviously, like Cavill's character will be, but
will it?
Or will it just because it's called Highlander, Scottish Highlanders. So, if they're rebooting like the original, then yeah, I think they would go with that story. But
is he supposed to be Spanish in Gladiator?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he was. I didn't. I just was like, he's a Roman. I didn't really think much about it beyond that.
Yeah, and I guess Spain itself kind of it don't matter too much. His character was called the Spaniard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
in Highlander, yeah, he
by the crowd. Okay, the crowd calls him the Spaniard. Interesting. Love Clancy Brown saying Ramirez. Isn't that just deep, scary voice? It's so good. I love Clancy Brown.
Well, that's what we have to know. Who's going to be the Kurgan? You gotta know that. They haven't said yet.
Dave Bautista is a good one. Momoa is a good one. Alan Richson, I think. I never say his name right. Reacher would be a good one.
Oh, Reacher. That's who it should be, that guy. So just have somebody different, because you've seen Jason Momoa, you've seen those other guys do everything.
I would love Alan Richson. I don't know if he has the acting chops for it.
Yeah. But do you really? I mean, you're just playing.
Well, think about it. Clancy Brown is
yeah, he did a good job.
Huge, towering dude that played the Kurgan well with that.
Yeah.
But what's the best part about the Kurgan?
Yeah.
It's not how big and scary he is. It's almost as big and scary as he sounds. And as much as I love Alan Richson, if the usual voice I talk in is like my chest to head voice here, I think Alan Richson just kind of always talks right about here. He just doesn't really go past this range. He's kind of got a little bit more gravel, but he's like, I don't want to get. I'm not the most religious person in the world, and I don't have a problem with people being religious either. But I feel like he just might be a little too Jesus-y for the Kurgan, because Alan Richson literally has a YouTube channel about like reading Bible verses. Like this dude straight up is just like, and Jesus said in the fourth book of this, and something's going on, and now I'm going to sing a song, and then we'll end the video. It's just like, all right, go back to church camp. Like you're an actor who the things you act in are Blue Mountain State, Reacher, and the movies you are in are usually ripping people in half and tearing them apart. I don't know. if these things correlate all that well, you know? And
yeah. True.
know, it makes me feel like I don't know what to feel when I watch a lot of Alan Ritchson stuff because I'm like, hell yeah, and then I think about it, and it's just a little funky. I try to separate the actor from the art, you know, the art from the artist, but that one I feel like seeps religiousness kind of seeps into the art sometimes and how somebody approaches their art, and I don't know if he has the visceral evilness that the Kurgan requires. Does that make sense? Long-winded way of saying that, but
yeah. You need to have the evil, because he's supposed to be,
I was tiptoeing around trying not to say something bad.
You know, it's like you got to find that combination of somebody who's big, or at least they can make like look like he's big on camera, and has the chops to do that like evilness.
Well, this is the movie that literally is, in my mind, the reason he cannot be the Kurgan. Because I really
gotta watch
enjoyed
that movie.
It's good. What James Bond is based off of, it's a lot of fun. He doesn't speak a whole bunch in the movie, but every time he speaks, and it's only and if he got some good voice dialect coaching, if he had a bunch of really good like dialect coaching, I feel like he could totally maybe change it a bit and really change my thought process here, and probably anybody else that might be in the same wavelength. But in here, in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, he's doing like he's got that bow and arrow, and he's literally just shredding through human beings, which doesn't seem like the most Jesus-y actor, but also
right
That's after
not real, I guess. But
the second he opens his mouth, though, every time he says a single word in the entire movie, it's used as a comedy line, and it's not because it's comical, but it's because he's got a higher tone voice. Like, if he went down, it's like, I'm Batman. And like, because he wants to be Batman too, and I just can't see that at all. He might have the physicality for it, but for him to do that, it's just going to sound like a frog just trying to talk or something. And it's just like, that's no. That's not the right. Give me somebody that has a lot of dialect coaching or naturally goes into that voice. The voice alone is what I can't take him seriously as an action star a lot of times. Where even like Chris Pratt or Chris Pine, somebody that might have that like higher register typically, they're not going to be talking like Vin Diesel or anybody like that, or Jason Momoa with that growl as that talk.
Yeah,
it's like
they're
just talking. But I don't know if the gravitas is the same because of the high pitchedness that is brought to it sometimes. And that can, if an actor is actively thinking about that in scenes, can totally change that. But I don't know. That's my soapbox about the Kurgan.
Anyway, next outpost we want to hit on our favorite. What Atlantis characters are we going to be trying to pick favorite moments for?
Yeah, the best and favorites.
So I've got Shepard, obviously. Beckett, Ronan, McKay, Weir,
Taylor and Ford.
Taylor and Ford. And then I also have like Keller, Carter, Woolsey.
Keller for sure.
Okay, that's a lot, but it should be easier to find with only 5 seasons.
Yeah, and that's just 8. That's one less than we had last time.
So I guess if we want to do Carter and Woolsey, but they're only like one. I don't know.
Y'all, well, okay, we're not going to do the minor characters. These are like the mainline SGA characters.
Right.
So Michael and Todd, not so much.
No.
But y'all let us know if y'all want Carter and Woolsey to be included in here.
Yeah.
Because they did only have the 1 season, but they still work. Because we're thinking about like the mainline SGA cast, same thing like SG1 cast. That mainline cast was SG1, including Jonas Campbell, and then Dr. Fraser and General Hammond. Ford was only on it for one. He was on it for a little more than 1 year.
So yeah, he came back a couple times. I don't know. Ford, I was kind of questioning. I mean, he's in the first season, he's a main, but
we'll include him, and then I feel bad that we didn't include Landry and. See, I don't even remember Lex Dillon's. I never remember Lex Dillon's character.
Lamb.
See,
Dr. Lamb. I forget what her first name is, though. Dr. Lamb.
Doctor.
Dr. Lamb. I never gave her a first name. I don't know. I don't remember.
And I love Bo Bridges as Landry, but even then, he's not there the whole time because Jack kind of takes over for a good while. It's a stepping stone thing.
Landry's just kind of there. I don't think he ever really has a moment.
No. The biggest moment he has is probably with his daughter, talking about the stuff. But yeah, let's include Woolsey and Carter.
Okay. All right. So it's only 5 seasons. If I start maybe I might have time to actually rewatch it all before. I have 2 weeks to rewatch it.
Oh, he's not a mainline character. I don't know if we can include Zelenka.
Yeah, maybe we might if we have time. Maybe we'll try to think of those. But
that makes it 11. Because we could do the same thing with minor characters down the road. We could do this. We could do this up here and talk about minor characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's not do that. Let's keep it at 10. So our 10 is Shepard, Taylor, Ronan, Ford, Weir, Carter, Woolsey, Beckett, Keller, and McKay.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I have written down here.
Yeah. Sweet. And then we can do a separate for recurring characters like Braytac, Todd, Michael.
Right.
You know what we could do? Maybe after SG1, SG8, and SGU, we can do Stargate's best recurring characters, and then we can also do that one-off character idea as well. But we can, before we do the one-off character, we can maybe do all of Stargate's best scenes from its minor characters, or best scenes from its recurring characters, something like that.
Yeah, not main cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zelina was always funny, just muttering to himself, walking away. He's like,
actually, he was Czech, I think, actually, not Russian. Yeah.
But that is an hour 45 for us, just about. I think we covered some good ground, talking about some of the best moments in all of Stargate. One at least, and generally.
So next week we'll do SGA, and then I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out, and then SG after that, and then maybe after that we do Origins and Infinity, or something like that.
Yeah, we have I think 5 or 6 ideas for other streams right after we do this little series.
Yeah, so, we can almost go every week, but I can't do that. Maybe we'll get to that point. I don't know. We'll see.
We start having 20 turn to like 80, then we get back in the groove of things. Truly, then we'll talk about doing it every week. For now, we have not next Wednesday, but the week after. So we have 2 weeks to dive deeply into Stargate Atlantis. Take the plunge into the pool, as they say, and figure out the best scenes for these 10 actors. Our favorite scenes from these 10 actors.
Okay.
It's going to be fun.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun. This was a lot of fun, honestly. I was kind of worried about it to a degree. I was like, I didn't have the Sam moment. I was like, oh no. But
because there's 10 seasons. There's like a lot of good in there, and it's hard to you think of you think of 5 and you can think of 5 others.
Well, it's literally we're like, okay, these are happening. Oh wait, that happened too. Like the Mayborn stuff. I didn't even think about that for a second because my brain just immediately goes to Daniel and Jack stuff. But then I did a happy dance because Mayborn. It's Mayborn. I think if you stream free every night, you'll get a lot of people joining.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to
Yeah.
round out the week a little bit more. It's hard to get everybody's schedules in tune sometimes. But that is a good idea that I think we're already considering. So, have you guys delved into Ironheart yet?
I don't even know what that is. I've heard it before, but I don't remember what it is exactly. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yesterday I debated tweeting. I was like, maybe I shouldn't tweet that because I saw that it was out. Now I almost tweeted like, "Oh, Ironheart's out?" Question mark.
Oh,
It's like,
that's that. Oh, that's that. Like Iron Man spin-off thing. Yeah. Okay, now I know. Like it just took me a minute to remember what that was. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't. Do I have to watch it?
No, I'm not gonna watch it. I don't.
Maybe I'll watch it when it makes its way to Disney Plus, which it kind of looks like that won't be too long from now.
Well, it's on Disney Plus. It's a Disney Plus show, but it's I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was a movie. It's a show. Okay.
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
I will try to watch it, but I got to focus on Atlantis for the next 2 weeks to get this done, right?
Yeah, no, we got more important things to focus on the next couple weeks, like new episodes of Murderball and Resident and Rick and Morty.
I'm caught up on
that. With an Ironheart.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Have any of you seen the new Jensen Ackles Countdown series yet?
Nope. Yeah, I would like to. I do have I haven't made it public yet, my video. For my channel, but the name of my channel might be changing. I got to make that decision soon here because if I'm going to start doing stuff, I need to have a channel name and not be changing it midstream. So I would do like Sarah6226, but my husband's like, you can't do that. So he gave me some ideas. Should I read them?
Do you want to read them on air or do you want to read them after?
We'll do that after.
Okay.
Hey, if anybody wants
to probably hear them, but
give me ideas. I don't know where you'd put it.
Well, shall we call it a day?
Tweet at me, I guess. But anyway, okay.
No, come on, read them on air. If we do that, we might not be careful and be here for another hour.
Yeah, I got to get going. My oldest daughter, I'm gone past the time I said I would, as it is. So my oldest daughter is watching my younger daughter. So Sarah Stargate. Yeah, I don't want it to be that specific though. I like the name, but I don't want it to be that specific. I want it to be more science fiction in general. And I really love, like, I'm a metalhead and I love hockey, so I might mix them. I did put a playlist up that's public. I'm still adding music to it, but
yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be
playlist up on that channel.
Make a little whatever you're feeling.
Yeah.
It's the Sarah hour. I don't know. That was the I'm trying to come up with a good name. It was the worst name possible. It was like the dumbest thing. Yeah. Anyway,
the Phoenix. Since I have that, I have a Phoenix tattoo, so that's why he's mentioning that. But
that'd be cool. We'll get into this. Y'all tweet at Sarah. What's your Twitter? It's Sarah Kipp, right?
At Sarah Kipp 71. It's SARAHKIPP 71.
Y'all get on the Twitters, the X's, whatever it's called nowadays.
Twitter X.
With tweet or Zweet or X, I don't know what it's called anymore. At Sarah, tell her what you think. She should be called on the new channel. might take your advice.
Maybe.
Mix and match some advice together and make it cool. Or just Mad Lib it all together. Yep. Warp Core Curiosity, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Housekeeping besides that, we have hopefully Radical Wasteland this Friday. Check out the community notes tab tomorrow, and we will give you a yay or nay on that. Sunday, of course, we'll be doing that, and our
Saturday
sci-fi
morning.
specials.
Saturday
And
morning.
Saturday's our first game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still getting used to that one. So yeah, if y'all aren't Patreon members and you'd like to support the channel, we do try to give you a little bit of value for supporting the channel, and that value is hanging out with us, watching some Farscape, and it's a damn good time, and it's a lot more. I mean, we're already pretty interactive, but it's very interactive because it's usually just a few of us, whoever just tunes in after the fact. So come hang out. Saturday, we're just watching one episode for now, and then we'll get back to Mondays. 2 days a week, or not 2 days a week, excuse me, 2 episodes a week in a couple months. And
end of August-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
There might be 2 weeks in the middle of August that I be here, so
yeah, we might do a vacation thing. I should attempt to do a live stream on my channel just to try it out.
Let us know.
Yeah.
And we're putting it in SciTrek. Facebook and here. Just to get as many eyes as possible. There's Modest Traveler has so many good little names on there. But yes, as the Stanley said, bye y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging. Friday, Radical Wasteland. Saturday, Farscape 3 on Sunday, Sci-Fi Sundays, and we'll keep you posted.
All right.
This has been Stargate Outpost.
It's been fun.
If I can find the button.